One of the great things about having an iPhone is that people can get a hold of you in so many different ways at any time of the day. And one of the worst things about having an iPhone is that people can get a hold of you in so many different ways at any time of the day. Depending on your level of tolerance, there may be some or many times during the course of a day when you don't want to be interrupted with a phone call or a text message or an email or by any other app that might want your attention. Now, you could just turn off your phone, of course, but then you might miss truly urgent or important calls. You could put your phone into silent mode, but it still might vibrate if you don't manually go in and turn vibration off. And you'll still receive notifications unless you go in and turn notifications off one by one. Fortunately, iOS 7 has a feature called Do Not Disturb. To access it, swipe up from the bottom of the screen to open Control Center, and tap the little moon button. When switched on and your phone is locked, all calls and notifications will be completely silent. Notice this puts a little moon icon at the very top of the screen, so you know that the Do Not Disturb function is currently on. Now, if your phone is unlocked, meaning if you're looking at the screen or using the phone in any way, calls and alerts will still come through. But as soon as I lock my screen, any calls to my phone will immediately go to voicemail. When I pick up my phone and unlock it, I see I have a missed call, and I could slide across that message to call the person back. I'll just unlock in this case. But other than that notification, there will have been no other audible or visual indication that a call came in. So one obvious use of Do Not Disturb is to turn it on when you go to bed at night, especially if you're the sort of person who leaves the phone by your bed. With Do Not Disturb activated, your phone won't be making sounds or turning on with alerts from various emails or notifications that you might get during the night. One exception is alarms. If you set an alarm in the clock app to wake yourself up, it will still go off at the time you've set, even in Do Not Disturb mode. You can also make a couple of other exceptions by going to Settings and tapping Do Not Disturb. Now, the first two items here are the manual and scheduled switches. Manual is currently on, meaning I enabled Do Not Disturb manually when I turned it on from Control Center. You can also turn it on and off using this switch, but obviously Control Center is more convenient. If you switch to scheduled, you can automatically put your phone into Do Not Disturb mode at a specific time every day. So if you don't want to be bothered between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. or any other range of time, just enter that in here. You can tap the times and make your adjustments. Now, importantly, you can also allow calls from certain people to always get through. By default, anyone in your favorites list can get through. But you can tap this and choose Everyone to allow all calls, which kind of defeats the purpose in my mind, but that essentially allows all calls to come through, but keeps the phone silent when emails and texts come in. You can choose No One, making it so that no calls get through. You can also choose to allow specific groups if you've created and synced groups from your computer. So you might want to create a group of people who can always get through on your computer and then sync that group to your phone. So for example, I might want to set it so that my family can always get through to me. I'll leave this set to favorites for now. This next option is repeated calls, and that's really important to leave on in my opinion. With this switched on, if you receive a second call from the same number within 3 minutes of the first call, your phone will ring. So if there's an emergency or urgent event and someone is trying to get a hold of you by calling repeatedly, they'll get through on the second call as long as it's within 3 minutes. And I do prefer to leave that option on myself. And the last section here is silence. And as I mentioned, the default setting here is to be silent only when the iPhone is locked. Again, if you're using the phone and looking at the screen, calls, emails, and texts will all still get through. If you'd rather not be disturbed at all, even if you are using your phone, you can tap Always. And you can see it says incoming calls and notifications will be silenced while the iPhone is either locked or unlocked. I'll keep only while iPhone is locked selected. I just figure if I'm already looking at my phone, it doesn't matter if I see a notification here and there. And that's the Do Not Disturb feature. Again, quickly access it from the Control Center. And again, remember that you'll see that moon icon up top to remind you when you have it turned on, so you'll also remember to turn it off when you want to be reachable again at any time.